Hello, Mataji, and you're watching Morning Pulse on Honorable TV. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has announced that India will host a prestigious AI Impact Summit next month under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Highlighting the global significance of artificial intelligence, the minister said nations across the world are gearing up to adapt to this disruptive technology. He added that in India, the entire ecosystem from government and policy makers to industry, academic and society at large is actively engaged in discussions on integrating AI across key sectors such as education, agriculture, healthcare, logistics and manufacturing.
Auspicious occasion of Pongal, I am here in IIT Madras with a purpose. Friends, next month, the prestigious AI Impact Summit will be organized in India in the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. India is preparing itself for the cutting-edge technology adoption in the digital sphere. India is already in the leadership position. We have UPI kind digital public infrastructure. In the digital transaction, India is leading in comparison to all parts of the globe. Taking forward that momentum, India is organizing AI Impact Summit. Now, entire country is preparing itself, being an innovators country, being a futuristic country. The entire ecosystem, all the cohort of society, all the important stakeholders of government and society, all are engaged, all are deliberating, discussing and making strategy how to implement the disruptive technology AI in our ecosystem, whether it is education, whether it is agriculture, whether it is healthcare, whether it is logistics, whether it is manufacturing. In all the aspects, Indian academia. Today I am speaking from IIT Madras. IIT Madras is in charge of, last year Government of India gave us a Center of Excellence for AI in Education, and we decided to park that Center of Excellence in IIT Madras as a hub. Now I am here today to have a review what is the progress of Center of Excellence of AI for Education on the sideline of AI Impact Summit. Friends, I can see a bright future of Indian students, Indian teachers, Indian parents, Indian institute builders. By using AI, we will leapfrog. We will have a quantum jump in future in our governance, in our pedagogy, in our teaching learning material. Our youngsters, our new generation will benefit out of this new disruptive technology. And our education ecosystem, whether federal government, whether provincial government, any kind of institutions, all kind of institutions are now preparing themselves how they will adapt AI in their curriculum, AI in their pedagogy, AI in their administrative system. On the eve of Pongal, the auspicious day, country is preparing itself how the new year will adapt AI in Indian education ecosystem. Yesterday, I met the governing council of NITSR, all the NITs and ISER. Yesterday we decided three important things. Indian Education Institute will more towards cutting-edge technology savvy, teaching learning methodology like AI. There will be a new course curriculum looking into the global need. India is a superpower today in financial world. We are the number 4th largest economy in the world today. When the entire world is looking towards us for the different region, we have to prepare our education system. So we decide to have a paradigm shift, total reholding of our curriculum system. And specific number 2, every year we are producing many doctoral students, PhD students. Till now in Indian ecosystem, our PhD was priority more towards academics, more towards citation, more towards quality papers. They all have produced quality papers, quality ideas. But now, I appeal to the entire Indian education ecosystem to focus on the problems, on the national priorities, on the national missions. Product PhD is the priority of the day. Industry PhD is the priority of the day. These are two second important decisions we have taken. And third important decision we have taken, will focus from school to research. The teaching methodology, teaching medium of instruction, medium of understanding will be mother tongue. Mother tongue will be given priority in all Indian educational institutions. So these are the three important things yesterday. We took decision, and I am confident with all your cooperation, Indian education is going to embrace a paradigm shift more towards global need, sustainability and cutting edge technologies. Friends, I am also happy to inform you, apart from my review of AI Center of Excellence in IIT Madras, today I am fortunate to attend the what is the number? 56th anniversary of prestigious magazine Tughlaq, which has been envisioned by the late legendary Cho Ramaswamy, now edited by the great philanthropist, thought leader Sri S. Gurumurthy ji. Thank you, friends.
Sir, this summit where will be held?
In Delhi. Next month it will be in Delhi.
Sir, this AI you were talking about in education, and also we are the largest user of UPI payment. There is a risk with this digital.
Every technology, every new thing has its own risk.
You are in IIT, sir. So with IIT,
this country has proven its capability, intellectual capability, since decades. Today, India is a leading exporter of software services to the all part of country. They are a technology. And IIT Madras, when I am speaking from IIT Madras, I am more confident.
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah has reiterated his long-standing opposition to the Indus Water Treaty, saying it has caused significant harm to the region. Welcoming the suspension of the treaty, the Chief Minister said the focus must now shift to ensuring the Jammu and Kashmir can fully utilize its water resources. He added that two key projects have been proposed to the centre, including the Tulbul Navigation Barrage on the Jhelum. According to Abdullah, the project will raise water levels in Vulkar Lake and the Jhelum boost electricity generation and enable river navigation.
मैं तो पहले दिन से इसकी मुखालफत करता आया हूं, क्योंकि इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी का आपको नुकसान नहीं हुआ, लेकिन हमें भरपूर नुकसान हुआ. आपकी 3 दरियाएं जो हैं आपके पास रखी गई, आपको पानी रोकने का भी पूरा हक मिला, उसका भी कुछ हद तक खमियाजा हमने भुगता, क्योंकि डैम आपने बनाए, इलाका हमारा डूबा. जो आपका रंजीत सागर डैम है, उसका ज्यादातर हिस्सा जो पानी के अंदर आया वो जम्मू कश्मीर का आया, और उसका जो हमें मिलना चाहिए था कॉम्पनसेशन वो नहीं मिला, जो उसका हमें बिजली मिलनी चाहिए थी वो नहीं मिली, जो उसमें हमें रोजगार मिलना चाहिए था वो भी नहीं मिला. लेकिन चलिए एक हमसाये के तौर पे हमने ज्यादा शिकायत नहीं की. अब चलिए, अब अच्छी बात यह है कि अब इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी जो है उसको सस्पेंड किया गया है. अब मैं चाहूंगा कि जल्द से जल्द ऐसे इकदाम उठाए जाएं कि हम वो पानी खुद इस्तेमाल कर सकें. हमने मरकज को 2 प्रोजेक्ट्स दिए हैं जो हमें लगता है उन पे काम अगर होगा तो हमें फायदा होगा. एक जहलम पे एक नेविगेशन बैराज, जिसको तुलबुल नेविगेशन बैराज कहा जाता है, सोपोर के पास, उससे वुलर में पानी बढ़ जाएगा, जहलम का लेवल बढ़ेगा. एक तो बिजली की पैदावार जो है वो ज्यादा होगी और हम जहलम पे जो है नेविगेशन के लिए इस्तेमाल कर सकेंगे. लेकिन उसके साथ साथ अखनूर के पास चिनाब से पानी निकालना ताकि जम्मू शहर को हम वो पानी फीड कर सकें. हमें लगता है कि आने वाले फिर 20-30 साल के लिए जो है जम्मू को पानी की किल्लत नहीं होगी. दोनों चीज़ों पे मरकज से बातचीत चल रही है और उम्मीद की जा रही है कि उनमें तेजी लाई जाएगी. उसके साथ साथ जो हमारे एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जो सिल्ट से भरे हुए हैं, चाहे वो सलाल हो, दुलहस्ती हो, बाकी हो, इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी के तहत उनकी डीसिल्टिंग हम कर नहीं पा रहे थे. अब मुझे लगता है इस मौके का फायदा लेके उनका सिल्ट जो है हमें खाली करना चाहिए.
Reacting to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah's remark on the Indus Water Treaty, PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti has strongly criticized the idea of using water as a tool of pressure. She said, weaponizing water is against humanity irrespective of whether it involves Pakistan or any other country. Mufti added that diverting or stopping water flows would amount to making people suffer and questioned the Chief Minister's stance, alleging that he was echoing the BJP's position on the issue. World number 2 badminton star Andre Anderson has revealed why he is not competing in the ongoing India Open 2026 in New Delhi. This year is the third year in a row that the Danish shuttler has skipped the tournament, and the reason once again is Delhi's severe air pollution. Taking to his Instagram story, Anderson said that extreme pollution levels in the capital made him feel it was not safe to host an international badminton tournament at the time. He added that playing in such conditions could seriously affect players' health, especially in a sport that demands high physical fitness and strong respiratory endurance. Anthony also shared that he has been fined $5,000 by the Badminton World Federation for withdrawing from the tournament. However, he said that health remains his top priority. The Danish star expressed hope that air quality conditions would improve by summer, when Delhi is scheduled to host the BWF World Championship later this year. His statement has once again brought the spotlight on concerns over player safety and environmental conditions at major sporting events in the national capital. His absence is a big setback for the India Open, and Anderson is one of the top contenders of the BWF World Tour and a strong crowd favorite. Denmark's ambassador to India, Rasmus Abildgaard Christensen, has said that the ongoing study focuses on developing a roadmap to restore the degraded ecosystem of Aravalli Range. Highlighting the global scale of the issue, the envoy noted that land degradation affects nearly 3 billion people worldwide, including in Denmark. He added that Denmark brings valuable experience in ecosystem restoration, preventing land degradation and transitioning away from unsustainable urbanization and agricultural towards greener solutions such as expanded forest cover and cleaner river.
Well, the study has to do with developing a plan for basically restoring the ecosystem of the Aravalli range, which has been threatened by land degradation. And I think it's important to understand that land degradation is not just a problem here in India, it's a worldwide problem. Almost 3 billion people are affected by it, including my own country, Denmark, where we have some good experiences in also how you do ecosystem restoration, preventing land degradation and getting away from unsustainable urbanization and agriculture and moving into more forest, more clean rivers, etc. So for those reasons, of course, we are super happy to support this study. The Aravalli Range is very important for the climate in northern India, and therefore very important to protect. And this is part of the Green Strategic Partnership Denmark has with India, where we focus on environmental conservation, renewable energy, water management, etc.
So you mentioned about the Green Strategic Partnership, which is very important for both the countries. Taking this in view, what all initiatives are underway and how important it is for both the countries?
Well, I think the Green Strategic Partnership is important for both countries, as our Prime Minister said when she met Prime Minister Modi, last year, namely that Denmark maybe have certain skills and experiences in this area. India has the scale, although it's not entirely true, because India also has the skills and the experience, and we are happy to share and compare notes. We can learn a lot from India, and hopefully India can also be inspired by some of the experience we have from Denmark.
We have entered a new year in 2026. What is the focus area in this year when it comes to India and Denmark ties?
We will double down on some of the activities within the green transition that we're already undertaking. A further push to help India develop its offshore wind potential. We have a lot of activities going on within the water sector. We're also now working on clean fuels for the maritime industry. India has an immense potential for developing hydrogen, ammonia, methanol for the shipping industry. Denmark is one of the world's biggest shipping nations, so our ship owners are very keen as they transition their fleet to tap into this potential for securing the fuels here in India.
EU delegation is visiting India later this month. There are talks about FTA. do you think that we will be able to sign the FTA later this month, and what are your hopes for the FTA?
I certainly hope so, and I actually also expect it. I think both Europe and India see each other as strong, reliable partners in the years to come. We have a lot to offer each other. It's very much complementary economies, both for the EU and for India, and certainly it has Denmark's full support. Also during our presidency for the past 6 months, we have pushed hard for concluding this FTA between India and Europe.
So my last question would be about, are there any high-level visits that are underway that will happen in this year?
Well, we very much hope that we will have some high-level exchanges this year. They are also currently being planned. I cannot reveal any details yet, but we very much.
BJP leader Chalawadi Naraswamy has criticized the Karnataka Chief Minister over protocol, alleging that CM failed to personally receive an important international guest during a recent visit to the state. Narayasamy's claimed that while the Chief Minister debuted cabinet colleagues to welcome the foreign dignitary, he himself chose to receive Congress leader Rahul Gandhi in Mysuru. He further alleged that there was competition between the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister to meet Rahul Gandhi, questioning why similar priority was not given to welcoming the German Chancellor.
It is correct. See, when the important guest coming from the outside to the state, the Chief Minister should go and give a good reception to him. But he neglected and sent some of his cabinet colleagues. So it is not correct. And so you went in a folded hands to Rahul Gandhi when he is in Mysuru. So it is a competition between the DCM and the CM to meet Rahul Gandhi. But why not the Chancellor from Germany? See, that is the wrong thing what the government has done.
Do you think that Karnataka missed a good opportunity when?
Yeah, of course. When the guest is coming, what for and what he is doing, and you have to convince him and bring some industries to the state. It is a good opportunity they missed.
But Home Ministry is defined for central should have informed us about that issue.
See, that is different. So blaming others is very easy. But when they are not informed you, how your cabinet colleague gone there? Without the information, means you have a information, but you neglected them to meet your Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi is a no-use person to this country. He is always sitting with the terrorists, anti-social elements, and anti-India element. So he is not a leader for this country. He is a anti-Indian mindset having Rahul Gandhi.
Well, sir, you raised the question of Bangladeshis.
Yeah, today I released some papers mentioning that one is Mr. Naeem Khan. He is a Bangladeshi. He is a driver in Bangalore. And ID card, Aadhaar card, ration card, and voter list. He is having Bangalore. Like that, so many others also having that. And all the facilities from government he is using. At the same time, when asked, he was telling that I am an Indian. Our leaders went in search of the documents in his house. All Bangladeshi identity, driving license, everything we caught there. Like that, some 15 to 16 lakh people is there in Bangalore in the name of Assam, in the name of Bihar, in the name of West Bengal, and the north side. Because their accent of Hindi is the same, so that nobody will find. You go to any hotel in Karnataka, even a remote hotel in Taluka headquarter. Go there. Only these Hindi-speaking peoples we can find. You deeply check with them. They are not Indians. They are outsiders. So that this government is totally patronizing them. They are supporting them. They are giving all the facilities to them instead of chasing them out.
So what you want, that you demand something from the government?
Yeah, before the GBA elections, Taluka Panchayat or Jilla Panchayat and Gram Panchayat, SIR should be taken place immediately. So remove all these extra voters from the list. Then only, free and fair elections will get over. So we can find a good solution to that.
So today we have made a decision, cabinet, 2 days special session regarding the Manrega.
So I welcome their decision because we wanted to discuss in length. And till the date, in the name of Narega, they were looting and totally malpractices have been done. So in the name of the card holders, the machineries were working and no single person have got the money from the this scheme. There was a heavy looting in this case. Now, what the bill we brought now, so we raised the 100 days to 125 days and 340 rupees were getting, now 370 rupees we are giving. And the money, whoever do the work, job, they will get the money directly because we are putting that amount in the accounts so that they only can access to their account, not anybody else.
You said you welcome it. So you find this 2-day session an opportunity to make.
Of course,
Karnataka
even before 2-3 days before I told, it is a God-given opportunity to opposition to hammer them properly because we can bring out all their malpractices to public.
That's all we have for now. Keep watching Honorable TV.